Here we go. Next episode of Shut Up and Dill podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Nikki, and we also have Vivi.
Hi.
And Jimbo.
Hello.
We're excited to be back. I feel like it's been a bit before, we've recorded one episode and haven't posted it yet. And now we're going to record 2 episodes. So it feels like it's been a bit.
It's been a while, but we're back on somewhat of a schedule. Maybe, I don't know. I think our schedules have been kind of we've been kind of missing each other. So back on track.
Back on track, and it also gets us a week ahead. So now it gives a week to actually edit everything before we post it instead of just a day, which has been very tough scheduling wise. Yeah. So we'll have a week. So we do have one that we're going to drop this week. So this one that we're recording right now will actually drop after Christmas. Yeah. So
hope y'all had a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, we hope you had a Merry Christmas and you got everything you wanted.
Yeah, maybe getting ready to jump into the New Year's and watch some college football.
Roll Tide. Roll. Had to say it. So, and maybe on your New Year's list or New Year's resolutions, play more tournaments. Yeah. We do have the 002 tournament and some big news on that one. That one is in March, and they have reduced the price of it. So Seth and team notified us that they've dropped the price from $465 per team down to $335.
Something like that. I think that's pretty accurate, though.
Yeah.
It's a huge savings. So Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas from the 002 team to all of us amateur players. Yeah. And he did say, that might not be, the strongest decision when it comes to, financially being profitable as a business, but it was the right decision to make for players. And don't forget, you also get a discount by using your discount code DILLTEAM, DILL team, and that gets you an additional $35 off.
Yeah. So that's a good tournament to play in and register for. It's money, so he's paying out, or 002 is paying out, paying out the divisions and the brackets. Yeah. So the risk reward is pretty good for that tournament. I think it breaks down to whatever you guys do the math, but it's like $75 a team if you use the discount code.
Per person?
$75 per person. Yeah. If you use the discount code, and I think the winner gets, I think it's $1,000. That's what he's paying.
Yeah, that's exciting. So I think we're ready to jump in with our topic for today, right? And I think we kind of all have an opinion on this, but we'll see if our listeners actually agree or who they agree with. But I think we're going to kind of intermix maybe DUPR. We're going to talk about DUPR and players that sandbag. So when you go to tournaments and you see a player that is, not at the same rating as you, or by the way that they play, they're not at the skill level that you are, but their rating may be there. Yeah. Right? So how do we want to kick this off? Do we want to talk about DUPR first, or?
I mean, I guess it's the right down to it,
the meat of it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So one of the things about DUPR, the way that it started, and how you can get sandbagging happening off of DUPR, is, and to be honest, I don't know that DUPR really helps right now because they're not really associated with many tournaments. It's the other rating that's really used, which is really, really off.
The UTPR.
That one's really not accurate.
Right.
But let's focus on DUPR.
Okay.
So DUPR started, and as they were building out their library of players and ratings, they would allow you to manually put in, and I think still do today, manually put in matches.
Right. So
if you go to a tournament and that tournament's not logging them, you can log the matches and the scores. You also can log rec play. So
I think all players, I think you're right, but I think all the players have to have a DUPR account. And then once you log those matches, your opponents and your teammate will
Have
get,
to approve it.
Yeah, get a
Yes.
notification, and it's got to be approved. So.
Right. So let's walk down that before, we start sharing any thoughts about DUPR, which I have plenty. Before we do that, how does somebody use that to help them sandbag? How does that happen?
Well, that's easy. I mean, there's a couple ways. You make an agreement. Hey, let's say we played this like we didn't. Let's just say it was 11-3. You guys beat us, knowing that the other team may be 4.03 and you're 4.5, and you're trying to play maybe 4.0 in the next tournament. So if you falsely log a match, it's gonna bump you down under the 4.5. So
Yeah.
in pickleball, as long as your rating is not 4.5 or above, you can still play 4.0. So if you're looking to sandbag and play a 4.0 tournament, well, then you can just falsely log a match. And then you won't want to log any matches that you win against, other 4.5. Anything that's going to boost your rating, you won't log. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty simple.
So do you think that happens a lot?
I don't.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of people that sandbag don't have like malicious intent behind it. I mean, obviously some people do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you like are like a 4.75 playing like in 4.0 because your DUPR is low.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's a little unfair, but I don't think many people are like, oh, I'm going to play 4.0 just to beat everyone. Unless it's a tournament like the qualifiers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really don't think like it's all that evil.
Yeah. I don't know that we necessarily play to qualify for anything. I mean, I think we play for the competitiveness and the trips, but there are a lot of people that they set out a pickleball schedule, and it's to qualify for nationals or whatever have you. And I think that in order to qualify for those tournaments, a lot of people will find themselves in a situation where they do need to sandbag, and maybe like the first couple tournaments you play 4.5, then you realize, okay, we might not qualify in 4.5. Let's somehow try to get down to 4.0 and play that.
Yeah.
I think that happens quite a bit.
But that kind of happens outside of the DUPR system, right? That's just naturally, because DUPR right now isn't used as a qualifying rating system for tournaments. Could be a good indicator of where you fit, right?
Right.
Of where you play. But I think the sandbagger exists regardless of the rating system.
Yeah.
If that's your goal, you're going to find a way to do it.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much in any sport.
Right. Yeah, and then I think we've talked about this, but in golf, they have a GIN system. It's GIN. I can't tell you what it stands for. I used to probably
I need you to look
could.
that up. Just kidding.
But you basically, you can go play a round of golf by yourself in the afternoon.
Oh.
Turn a scorecard in to your pro shop, and that, Golf Pro, part of his job is to enter his members' scores into the GIN system, and then that will, your handicap will move based on, the amount of rounds you play. Yeah, self-log. So if you get a birdie on a hole and, you have a tournament coming up, but you want to play in the third flight, not the first flight, or, you want to sandbag, essentially, okay, well, in my mind, in my heart, I got a birdie, but I'm going to go ahead and give myself a bogey.
Yeah.
And that sets your score up to be higher than what it actually was. And it's all based on the honor system. Like, nobody's going back and verifying those scores, So golf, there's a lot of sandbagging, and I think pickleball is the same way. I don't know that 4.5, 5.0. I think once you get to a point, you kind of expect to play some really good teams. I think 4.0, 3.5, 3.0, definitely. I think there's a lot of sandbagging. And a lot of it's just, maybe it's not malicious. Maybe it's people just don't know where they fit. Maybe it's their first tournament. Mm-hmm. Maybe they've been playing at, Lifetime for a year now, never played a tournament. So they're like, well, I'm just starting. It's my first tournament, so I should play 3.0. when really you have skills of a 4.0, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, and then you may have some true beginners that are 2.5, 3.0 level, and those tournaments can be no fun for them, right?
Yeah, I think once you recognize that you're in the wrong level, then it's sandbagging if you continue playing in that level.
Right.
You know, if you go to your first one, or maybe even 2 tournaments, maybe you go to a small tournament and you're out of line, and then you're like, well, let me try a larger tournament and see if that's the same.
Yeah.
And you're still out of, you know, you're a skill above, then if
Right.
you continue playing in that level, you're purposely...
Yeah, you're purposely trying to win a medal or whatever, whatever it is.
Wherever it leads to,
Yeah.
whatever the goal is. So
Yeah. So, I mean, when talking, you know, about DUPR, like Vivi, you can probably explain this, but you and I played last Saturday,
Yeah.
right? We played last Saturday, and, you know, both of our DUPRs were greatly affected from it.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you were sitting at like a 4.0,
4.6,
He was
5
like
or
4,
something.
6 something.
and
yeah.
I was like at about 4, maybe 2.
Yeah, 4.2.
4-2. And we lost all of our matches.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
some were close. They
some
you
some
lost.
were
Yeah.
definitely close.
Close. And most of the competition was, you know, 4-5, all men.
Yes,
right?
I was the
No
only
mixed
girl
ins.
there, I will say that.
Uh-huh.
And our DUPRs are very, very heavily affected. I'm now at like a 3.7.
Oh wow. I didn't even look.
Yeah, and I'm I'm a 4.25.
Wow.
So
And you may become a sandbagger not even on purpose.
so that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, a couple things. Like, for me, like sitting at that 4.6.5, you're kind of like in, you know, kind of like a no man's land, right? You definitely should be playing 4.5, but like I probably feel like, okay, like if I have the right partner, if I can get in 35, I could probably, you know, play at 5.0.
Yeah.
But, you know, so we're kind of getting ready for, you know, like for the 002 tournament. Our team, you know, we're sitting right there, right, probably just before this DUPR event we played.
Yeah.
We were probably sitting right there,
Just
you know,
above.
borderline,
Yeah.
just above being able to play in the 18s, but
Yeah.
on the very low end of playing 20s. But,
Right.
you know, if DUPR's the rating, then we're going to have to play, we're going to have to enter the 20s and know that we're going to be on the low end of those 20s, which is fine. I think everybody on our team is perfectly fine playing that, and definitely don't want to play down.
Yeah.
But, you know, with a rating like I have now, I think
Comfortably in the
I think we're
18s.
comfortably in 18s. And I don't know that that's, I mean, 18 is, you know, it's 4.5, so it's
Yep.
not, I don't consider that sandbagging, because, you know, when you play 4.5, you probably know that you're going to see some 4.0 play, but you're also going to see some 5.0 play. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you just kind of expect that in 4.5, some really good play, and then maybe some people that don't belong up there, you know. But at a 4.25, like, I could play 4.0.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if DUPR's the rating that tournament chooses to use, I could play 4.0, knowing that, you know, knowing that's would be sandbag.
Yeah.
Right? But my DUPR says I'm 4.25.
Right. And so this is where I have some real opinions on DUPR and their goal to become kind of the point of reference of somebody's skill level. There's so many inaccuracies, or the system does not seem to be fully baked. And I think that they are very inconsistent in how they're approaching rating a player. Every year that I've played, that DUPR's been around, their methodology of how they're actually rating players has changed
Right.
every year. So how you can set a goal of being a reference point for players and eventually tournaments, I don't think you can if you don't even understand your methodology month to month, year to year. So now they're changing to where
Sorry, you're talking about
DUPR.
DUPR and saying that, okay, we're going to count points for each match, and it can affect your DUPR one way or other, and then they take that away and say, no, we're not gonna count those points anymore. And now they're coming back saying,
score.
okay, you guys talked, and now we're gonna count score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to count score, each individual score, win and loss, right? And then we're going to not count score. We're just doing wins and losses, but they only report the movement on wins. They'll say how much a win has affected your rating, but will not disclose how much a loss has affected your rating. If you're going to disclose part of it, to me, as a player, I would think if we want transparency, I need to know how the loss affected me.
Yeah.
If you're not disclosing it, it means that you're inconsistent on how you're factoring that.
Right.
Which means my score, my number's ineffective, right?
Yeah.
So they said, okay, we hear you loud and clear, like you said. Wins and losses isn't the way. Let's go back to points in 2024, how many points you scored. But then also it's 2 decimal points after. No, guess what, guys? It's now 3 decimal points
So
after.
extra. Yeah.
Right? I'm like, okay, that was the defining difference for me. It's like,
Right.
okay, that makes a huge non-difference. There, and that's where I'm getting kind of irritated with DUPR on these posts of, we're doing this for you guys, we're doing that for you guys. Really, I just need you to sit down and figure out how you're rating us.
Yeah.
That would be really nice,
Yeah.
you know? And then 2, I think in the pursuit of having a dynamic rating that reacted to each point that you're playing, you're building something for amateurs so that they can see progression pretty fast, but you're absolutely not building something for tournaments.
Yeah.
Even, 002 is saying, hey, we have to do a deadline of February, whatever day in February, as whatever you're captured at in DUPR on that day is what we're going to consider you in March. Because they openly know your rating can change too much
Yeah.
between now and then,
Yep.
because the scoring system is too dynamic
Right.
for you to say, hey, we want to be involved in tournament, or we want to be the scoring of record for tournaments. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You just can't do it. You're either dynamic for the player, or you have to create some static rating, some 90-day trail of saying, hey, this has been the average for the past 90 days. And that's what you use for tournaments. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, they have to do something. Like, yeah, I mean, it seems like they're trying, but maybe they really I don't know. It's all fairly new. All this has came about in the last, I think, DUPR, in the last few years. So, they're figuring it out, or trying to, or maybe they just don't really know how to accurately track the rating and to seat you for tournaments. But because it used to be, I think for a while, maybe last year, like I may not play a tournament for months, and then look at my DUPR and it's like, oh, well, I dropped like half a point. Like,
Right.
How did my DUPR move? I haven't played.
because everybody else has moved.
Everybody else has moved. Everybody else has played. So the people that beat me maybe lose to a team that's rated lower. So now my DUPR is going down. Or maybe that team that beat me or that I beat played a tournament and they won. So my DUPR's going up. It's like, man, like at least golf, like
Yeah.
as bad as sandbagging was, it was your, it was your, it was your body of work that was being rated. It wasn't somebody else's. And it wasn't while you were like, idle.
Well, what's interesting about that now that, because I remember us talking about that in the past, about it's basically changing it based on other people's results. But that's one of the things about pickleball is that people can progress pretty quickly. So using historical data to me makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's like you really shouldn't assess how I would play against Vivi 90 days from now. That's when it should be assessed. If Vivi and I meet each other again 90 days from now, that's a pulse of how I compare to Vivi at that time.
Right.
It's like taking a picture and saying, this is what it was. But to say 90 days ago, we played and Vivi won, right? but then Nikki goes on to win X and X amount of matches, so that affects Vivi. It's like, well, Nikki's progressing.
Yeah.
And Vivi didn't do anything that whole time, right?
Yeah.
So you take a loss because I'm progressing. A person's dynamic. They're going to get better. Like, how can you look historically and go back and say, oh, well, never mind. That was, you know, this or that. And we have no way to tell how it's affecting us at all.
Right.
It's very frustrating.
Yeah. So after we played that tournament it wasn't a tournament. It was just partner play. You and I played.
Yeah.
You know, what did you? And I don't even think you knew. I don't know if you look at your DUPR, but I was like, oh my god, like look at this.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I mean, I obviously expected it to go down, like maybe to like a 4-0, but like a 3-7. I mean, I looked at it and I kind of I told you I was like, I can't look at this anymore. I deleted the app. I have my account, of course.
Okay.
I need it.
Yeah.
I just don't.
I
don't feel like
I
No, this
kind of
is just my
agree.
new mentality now that
Yeah.
I was like, it's the same thing as like constantly like looking at how many likes you have on your posts. Mm-hmm. You know, it's never gonna like be enough to make you, you know, feel good. And unless you're a 5.9, you know, I feel like everyone wants a higher DUPR. And I was like, I can't look at it anymore.
Yeah.
So I deleted the app. I don't want to see because it just makes me feel bad.
Yeah. Especially if you're being rated by an unfair, like, I don't know. It just seems like an
especially if
unfair
I'm being
system.
compared to a bunch of 40-year-old men. Like, I'm a 16-year-old girl.
Well, that's
know.
okay. I mean, if you play against them, be assessed against them. But
Yeah, I mean, we knew
it's
going
like
in.
your teacher not knowing how they're going to grade the test.
Yeah.
That's what it is, in essence, is, okay, I'm fine with you grading the test, but, you know, give me the syllabus, tell me what to study, and then grade the test the way you said.
Yeah.
You're grading the test this way, and then going back and saying, well, never mind. I want to grade the test that way. Oh, wait, never mind.
Yeah.
Enhancement, let's grade the test this way. Mm-hmm. You know?
I think it was like Dane Gingrich, like Coach Dane, if you ever follow him on.
Yeah.
He had a really good post about DUPR, and he's like, all right, I got something to say about DUPR, you know? And one of the main key things that I took away is like, I'm not going to take it seriously until there's a singles, there's a genders, and there's a mixed rating. Until then, like, it's ridiculous. Like, you cannot rate a mixed team against a men's team.
1,000%.
Or a mixed team against a women's team. It's not going to work. Like, it's apples to oranges, right? Like, there's just, it's a different game, right? Have a mixed rating, have a genders rating, and have a singles rating. Until then, like, I don't know. Until then, I'm a 4.25.
I'm kind of with Vivi. I might delete the app.
Guys, are we going to start a revolution?
I'm with you.
Everyone,
I'm
delete
in
DUPR.
for the hashtag delete DUPR.
I don't think they care who carries the app. I think they care who has the.
Of course they care who carries the app.
I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, but we still have our account.
But they know users. They know activity of users.
No, but I'm not talking about the actually like boycotting DUPR. I'm talking about let's stop checking that app every day after every tournament to see this number go up.
Yeah.
I'm just like, let's just play pickleball and play what we want to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I kind of agree with you that if you remove the app, it removes the habit
Exactly.
of checking.
Yeah.
But that does have an effect on DUPR. It does. And especially now, because you can't tell me that they aren't worried about another rating system coming in.
Oh, yeah,
They
absolutely.
are, because the minute that other organization came in and said, we're creating a more simple rating system, which is 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0, 6 point plus, right? And said simply, this is, if you're able to do these shots in this range, you fall in this. Log your matches, this is where you are. I saw a post from that organization, and probably within 2 weeks, I saw a post from DUPR that was very slighted towards, we're the pickleball rating system. We don't have anything to do with tennis. We're not a tennis organization trying to do pickleball ratings.
We're the pioneers.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
We're the
yeah.
pioneers. And I thought, why do you even feel the need to make reference to this unless you're worried? You
Right.
know that you have a platform that is ineffective, and you're trying to go and be on the offense rather than be on the defense.
Yeah.
But if you're proud of what you do, you're not worried about that tennis association coming in and creating a pickleball rating system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be worried about it. You'd be
Right.
like, well, no, we have so many users and they're this active. I'm kind of with you. I think I'm going to delete the app. Vivi started something.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
Yeah, I just find it very frustrating. And not that I really depend on it. I don't. I go play whoever I want to play and where I feel, competitive. But I have a real bad issue with getting caught up in system inaccuracies, and it's just my brain works that way. Of how can you say these things, or how can you want these things, and you haven't even created a platform that's consistent,
Right.
or provides it.
Yeah, I mean, I will say too, like, probably last year, maybe a little over a year ago, I think I was, I think my DUPR was 4.8, or I think that's probably as high as it got, in the like 4.7,
Yeah.
something, and now I'm a full half point below that,
Yeah.
but I feel like I've progressed over the year.
Yeah, but
as
some
a
of that is
player.
not on you. Some of that is exactly what you're saying on mix not being separated.
No, yeah, I'm just saying how inaccurate the system is. Like I'm a lower rating now than I was a year ago, but as a player and on the court and as an opponent, I feel like a lot of my opponents will say, "Man, you've gotten a lot better over the last year."
Yeah.
My DUPR's gone the opposite way.
Yeah, and I think what I guess kind of grinds me a bit too is that I have noticed, and I'm trying to choose what I want to talk about, right? But I think it's one thing using a DUPR when it comes to a tournament to assess where I might enter this tournament and be competitive. I think that's one thing, and I think it can change regionally. But when you're using it for local hits, as an assessment of like, hey, you're invited to this hit because your DUPR's at a certain rating, but that system is so broken, that to me gets me as well. When it's locally, I don't consider you good enough. Knowing that you play with me and I win, I lose, it's competitive every time, though.
Right.
It's the scores are 9-11, 10-12, right? But because the DUPR system says you're a 4.4 or 4.2 or 4.8, that's the deciding factor. It's like, well, we know each other.
Yeah.
We play all the time.
No, it's funny. Yeah, it's funny that you say that now, because there's certain groups that we've gone to in the past that I would not be invited to if nobody knew me, or maybe I'm not invited anymore. I don't know, because
Well, I know I'm definitely not invited anymore. 3-7.
It's a joke, man. It's a joke to me. It really
It is. Like, it does
really
when I
is.
hear a hit's being based around somebody's DUPR rating, I'm like, well,
Well, I mean,
can we use a rating system that's actually right?
I understand that. Like, I think that's been going on before DUPR. Is like, we're setting up a 4.0 plus hit, and basically you just kind of know what you're looking for and know what you want when you set up those hits.
Yeah.
So I think that's just kind of a way of saying, hey, like, not everybody's invited. It's invitation only. So you're invited, but don't ask,
Yeah.
so and so.
Joe to come because
Right.
Joe's not there. And I think the solve is pretty easy, in all honesty. Pull out mixed, like Dane said. I love that post by him. I was like, yes, somebody sees it my way. Could I get on the phone with him and just whine about this with him?
Right.
Because I know I overwhelm you with my conversation on it.
So tag them whenever we post this.
I do need to tag him because, like, I really legit would like to just rant with him because
Oh, yeah.
I agree
him on the
with
show?
everything. Yeah.
I'm sure
I
he's
could
always.
rant.
it's funny because he's really active on his social media.
He really
like,
is. Yeah. So, pull out mixed. And then I do think I like the dynamic nature of DUPR, but I think you have to create a trailing 6-month static one of, hey, in the past 6 months, this has been your average. So this is what's used for tournaments. And then the dynamic side of it is just used to know if you're trending up or down.
Yeah.
Am I trending and improving as a player, or am I not improving as a player? How am I doing against my peers?
Right.
The 6-month trailing is what would be used for tournaments or for assessments into leagues or whatever may come with pickleball. I think if you introduce those two things, you could solve a lot of the problems.
Yeah.
DUPR, you can thank me later if they go to it.
Yeah, because I mean, when we talk about tournaments, it's where they seat you at, right? So like, I go in.
There you go.
Exactly. So if I go into a 4-5 tournament and I'm, my partner's maybe 4-8, 4-9, and I'm 4-2-5, like we're gonna end up, as the number 12 out of 16 teams, and right off the bat playing the number 4 and probably have a good chance of winning that. Yeah. But
that
at
number,
the same time, like we should be on the other side with that first buy and not having to, not having to fight so hard to get to where we, should be.
But I think some of it too is that I think I don't think you and I anchor ourselves on DUPR. And there are players that do. So there are definitely players in our last episode that we're going to post. We talked about players that are, sour pickles. And I think sour pickles are really worried about what ratings are in each hit. And they're very protective of that number. So they don't ever play with a player that's below that number.
Yeah.
So you can definitely protect your DUPR number by just being very elitist and saying, I won't hit with somebody who's a 4.2. Because if I lose a match with somebody who's a 4.8 and I'm a 4.8 and we played against 4.8s, guess what's going to happen? Nada.
Yeah.
Nothing. What happens is we are not protective of that DUPR number at all. We'll play against 4.0s. We'll play against 5.0s.
Yeah.
We don't care. But that does cause a little bit of a roller coaster when it comes to assessing your number.
Yeah.
And saying, hey, okay. And the system just isn't built
specifically?
No,
Sophisticatedly?
whatever that word is, it's not sophisticated enough
Okay.
to understand that you're, playing against 2 players that are beneath you or 1 player that's beneath you with your team. Like, it's just, it can't.
Right.
They just don't have it refined enough.
Yeah. I mean, I'll look at DUPR like going into a tournament with players that I don't know, and I'll search up the DUPRs of who I'm playing first, and it's like, oh man, he's 4.8 and he's 4.9, and then we get out there and I'm like, wait, this guy's 4.8.
Yeah.
Like, shit, I'm like a 6.0.
I'm gonna pick on the 4.8 on the court.
Right. Okay. We're going at the 4.8.
Yeah. We made a conscious choice to go for the 4.8. Kind of like our conscious choice yesterday in the Dreambreaker that we did.
And that was perfect. You brought out the idea. I think I set the line up and was like, this is going to be flawless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Robert was like, I don't know.
So we played the MLP style tournament yesterday. Went to a Dreambreaker, and Nikki was like, "Let's just do like our women against their men and our men against their women." And we looked at it and it was like, okay, like our, probably our person who's least comfortable playing singles, still probably better than their least comfortable playing singles, which was our lady and their man, and our best. Like I feel like me, Nikki, and Robert were probably all pretty similar.
Yeah.
We're like, I think any one of us could take on their best, so let's let Nikki do that. And then me and Robert get to play the 2 ladies, or have to play the 2 females, and we all felt like the edge was going to be the guy. Everybody else can split, and we should be able to pull, 3-1 against the 2 females. But I think Nikki probably had a slight edge in her, matchups. And
Well, I think it's always a surprise, right? So when you go into a Dreambreaker, you're always thinking the males have to win 3 to 4 points. particularly if they're playing against a female.
Yeah.
They really need to secure the majority of their points.
Yeah.
The female is really at the advantage because if I can just steal 1 to 2 points from you, I've done my job. If I happen to get 3 or 4, oh my gosh, right? But if I just walk away with 1 point from you, I've done my job because now our men are playing your women and they are more than likely going to get 75% of those points.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way I looked at it is if I can do my job and if Leah could do her job and just get 1 or 2 points off of the men, we've done our job. Now it's just, can their women do the same?
Yeah. I think you guys did more than your job.
We did a good job. Leah did really good because she's not always, like she said, I don't love singles, but she does not give up. She did good. Yeah. But man, when I did play Spike and I told him this, I was like, did not take into consideration how tall he is and how long he is. He doesn't give up.
Yeah.
So where some people will see a shot and say, okay, that's just a good shot. Most females will be like, oh, that's a good shot. I'm just going to let it go by me.
Yeah.
He would jump and fall on the ground for it.
Yeah.
And his reach is so long. I was like, okay, I may have underestimated this.
Yeah.
I may have bitten off more, but I just have to get 1 or 2 points. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was fun. But all right. Well, DUPR, I'm going to delete the app. I've been thinking about it. I'm going to do it. Yeah. I'm with Vivi on this. I'm deleting it. Yeah. Until they can get consistency and how they're doing things.
I'll delete the app. Yeah.
No, you have to do it because you want it. You can't just say like, oh, I'm going to delete the app to follow us.
I think that it's a joke. I mean, I think the fact that I am where, I mean, it can't be just me. It can be the other way around. Like, you know, guys or people that are 4.8s are not 4.8s.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to say that.
Don't let that number in your head when you're on the court, man, because it doesn't mean anything.
I was going to say that. I remember when we first started playing. You remember the first tournament? We were late to sign up for it. It was in College Station. We ended up having to play like 5-0. It was my first tournament. It was like 4-5 or 5-0, and the Open was Mary Beth and Brandon, who's on the Pro Tour now, and
Thomas.
I mean, it was crazy, right? And those were the players at that time. They were at that level. Now, and I've talked to you about this before in the past. We go to PPA tournaments, and 4-5 is not what it used to be.
No,
5-0 is not what it used to be at all. And I blame DUPR.
Yeah,
like I blame DUPR for that. That they've created a scoring system that people think that they're being assessed at a level, but it is so dynamic in nature that they're getting the way it's assessing them. And I think regionally it may be different. A 4.8 in Austin is not a 4.8 in California.
Yeah, right.
You know? So anyways, I felt in PPA tournaments, sometimes I'm like, did we sign up for the right one? Like, we go to the first match, it was like, oh, that was not a 4-5 match. And you really don't see that 4-5 match until one of the last 2 or 3 matches.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Yeah. So, yeah, I blame DUPR.
4-5 is the next, what is it? Like 3-5 or?
4-5 is the next.
4-5 is the new 3-5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just kidding. All you 4-5s.
I'm not. Y'all are 4-5s. Y'all are true 4-5s. Sorry.
I think we're a tried and true 4-5.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah. I think I'm a true 4-0.
I agree too.
Yeah, you're definitely not a 3-7. Oh my gosh, that's crazy to me.
Like, I don't know what it would be like to play in 4-0, you know? Like
me and you?
Yeah, me and you could play 4-0 right now. We could
play 4-0 right now. Yeah, we could play 4-0 right now. You want to try it? No. Just kidding. No, we did 4-0 for a long time. Yeah, we did 4-0.
But it's different now than it was.
It is different. Like, it almost would be interesting to do it once just to see how different it is. Because when we played it, it actually was pretty competitive. Like, I remember some of the matches we played at 4-0 for, like, gold and silver. And They were dogfights.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the same level anymore.
I don't think so.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for listening. We're at 40 minutes. Again, sign up for 002 tournament coming up. Go online to our website to get any deal codes that we have for you. We'll be working on some new partnerships in the new year.
Yep.
So we had to do some stuff, get our business set up.
Yep.
So we've got some new partnerships coming soon, which will be very exciting. Go online to our social accounts and like us, share content, and watch us on YouTube.
Shutupanddeal.com.
Shutupanddeal.com for the website, yes.
Right.
Shut Up and Deal podcast for any of the social accounts.
Yep. Yeah, check us out and share our content.
Yep.
Listen to the show. Subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah.
Do all that stuff.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks.